Battlegrounds Mobile India has finally launched, and that has marked the much awaited return of PUBG Mobile in India. Well, the return had been speculated for the longest time. In fact, ever since PUBG Mobile was banned, fans around the country had been speculating of what its promoter Krafton might be doing. The company on its end had announced that it has severed ties with Tencent Gaming, which was the main China link for PUBG Mobile. And all of that has culminated in the launch of Battlegrounds Mobile India. It has a new name and a few new cosmetic elements and of course new policies, all of which Krafton hopes is going to help it survive in India, and it is going to help the company pass the ministry gauntlet in the country. But does it really take all the marks? Is it as good a game as before? Do the changes make it a bit of a compromise, or is it really ignorable? Let's find out in our first experience of Battlegrounds Mobile India, which essentially is PUBG Mobile with a few changes. Now, before talking about the gameplay, we are going to talk about the changes that have come to Battlegrounds Mobile India. And in terms of the changes, some of the biggest changes have come from the policy end. In the policy, Krafton clearly specifies its data regulation and data storage laws. A recent report had in fact stated that the game is still relaying some data to a Chinese server. But now, earlier today, an IGN India report has claimed that a new update has been pushed to the game, which measures a few kilobytes in size and is automatically applied to the game and makes sure that no data is further sent to Chinese servers. Krafton specifies that all in-game data for Indian users is going to be stored in India and Singapore, and that makes it compliant with all data regulations of the land. Now, another thing that Krafton has focused on is the child usage policy, or the usage policy for underage players of the game. In this, Krafton has clearly specified that players under the age of 18 will need to provide a contact number of a parent, which is going to serve as a parental control regulation of sorts. Along with that, underage players are going to be restricted in terms of the overall gaming time and how much money they can spend within the game each day. Now, these come after reports on the previous edition of PUBG Mobile, where many players had been reported to have either harmed themselves or others around them if they were restricted from playing the game, and many had spoken out about the game's addictive nature as something that poses a risk for underage users. And with this time, Krafton has attempted to make changes on this end. However, the number of prompts that you will be served are quite a few within the game, where you will be reportedly asked from time to time to take breaks while playing the game. And for some that might seem a little annoying, but on the overall terms, it serves as a way for the developers to pitch that anybody playing the game should take a break and make sure that do not get too addicted to the overall game. In terms of the cosmetic changes, the real big change is that while previously if you shoot down an enemy, they would have just simply bled, which is the natural course of action. In the new title, in Battlegrounds Mobile India, if you shoot an enemy, they are going to blow up in a smattering of green feathers. You can change the color green to yellow if that's what you'd prefer, and that's pretty much the biggest graphic change per se. The other change is that the game clearly states multiple times when you start a round and when you open the game that this is a simulation which is situated in the virtual world, which is yet again something that Krafton has attempted in an attempt to make sure that it caters to the underage gamers and make sure that it caters to reports about how it affects the psyche of underage players who might take the game for being too real. Now, these are the main cosmetic attempts and cosmetic elements, and apart from that, the game has pretty much remained the same. It is at the end of the day PUBG Mobile at heart. It has retained its 5 maps and about a dozen game modes, including Team Deathmatch and the classic Battle Royale, of course. And all of that has kept the game to what it was. You of course get the high definition graphics packs with the game as well, and an Ultra HD graphics mode is also prompted as coming soon, all of which sums up that this is what it was previously. When you set up the game, PUBG Mobile will allow you to port the previous data to the new Battlegrounds Mobile India, although you can do this only once, and it is only here that the game will once ping a Chinese data server to port your data from there to here, and that is about it. So to sum up, does it signify a successful return for the game in the country? In a way, yes, because the game has retained exactly what it was, and that is something that hardcore players of PUBG Mobile, aka Battlegrounds Mobile India, will really like. On overall terms, except for these few cosmetic elements, the game has remained the same, and it can be hardly faulted for that. However, it remains to be seen if the changes that it has made is enough to pass the Ministry gauntlet, and that is something that we'll only be able to see in the days to come.